It's actually scary. I was looking at some facts. 1 in 10 obese children will be from India by 2030. If your child is not gaining weight, if they're always tired, they have cold hands and feet, they're never hungry, or when they fall, they get black bruises. So there are certain signs you can obviously see if they are low in iron or not. So the thing is with kids, I think we become so scared of their emotions, of their tantrums, that we're just giving in. And it's important, if we don't hold those boundaries, they will never learn. So when you look at these food, like you'll have apple puree, you'll have pear puree. So how does it get to that state? So it goes through very high heat. So basically they heat it at very high to make it shelf stable. So actually you're just left with the sugar part of the fruit. For a toddler, like 1 to 2, avoid sugars, avoid artificial sweeteners.
Welcome to the Debina Bonnerjee show. In our culture, food is everything. Moms worry about it when their babies are tiny. And honestly, even when the kids are grown up men. Beta, you've lost so much weight. You must not be eating enough. Sounds familiar, right? We bond over food, we celebrate over food, we even sometimes fight over food. And because food is such a big part of our lives, it's so important to build the right food habits right from our childhood. Which is why today I have with me baby and toddler nutrition consultant and HarperCollins author Sanchita Daswani to talk about the A to Z of nutrition, growth, and raising healthy little foodies. Welcome to the Debina Bonnerjee show, Sanchita.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start from the phase of the baby. So I want to know, what is baby-led weaning? Because we talk a lot about baby-led weaning, which wasn't there. I mean, it never existed during our mother's time. So our parents, they do not give much importance to what is baby-led weaning. So just feed. So I just want to know, what is that and how much of following that is true, or is it just a phrase?
Yeah. So actually, it's a feeding approach. It's the way you offer food to your baby. So with baby-led weaning, what it is you put pieces of food in front of the baby. So for example, steamed carrots, steamed broccoli, idli, dosa, you put it in front of the baby and then you take a step back. Then the baby is in charge of putting the food in their mouth. So what happens is the baby is in control of what's happening. So what we are used to is spoon feeding, where we take the spoon and we put it in the baby's mouth. Now, the reason that baby-led weaning has gotten popular is because spoon feeding is being done wrong. Because what's happening is your baby will take 2-3 bites, then they shut their mouth. Then what happens? The whole house panics. How can your baby have only 2 bites? And that's when the forcing, open your mouth, eat happens. And then the baby's like, look, no one's listening to me. I'm not interested. This is not fun. And that's when mealtimes become a big battle. And the other reason that baby-led weaning is popular is because with spoon feeding, babies don't see the food. What is broccoli? What is carrot? What is chicken? Everything is mashed and fed to them. So suddenly when a baby turns 1 and you give them broccoli, they're like, what is this? We are not going to touch it. So actually, baby-led weaning is popular because we're not doing spoon feeding right. We're not creating the positive environment for our child to even build a relationship with food. So that's why a lot of people are enjoying baby-led weaning. But, you can say this term, that term. I just like to say, let your child be in charge and feel in control. Like that is the main purpose of baby-led weaning.
Okay, there are Instagram channels that we see where the babies, they just, pick up, grab like a big piece of broccoli, they're eating a big piece of chicken and eating. But, my audience has also written it to me. I mean, I have seen things written below that how are these babies eating? I mean, we are scared that when the baby starts eating, when it's that time, when you are introducing food, when you want everything mashed and spoon fed, uh, in that spoon also, if there something gets stuck in their throat, they do those gagging york, and we just panic. So how do we give that big thing in their hand? So as a mother, even I felt very, petrified, that, and I was looking at the face at the moment my daughter would do a yuck, I will just tell, put my finger in and throw things out. So I just need to understand the the real fear versus what really can happen.
Exactly. I always tell parents we shouldn't let our fears come in the way of our kids actually enjoying the whole experience. So, the first thing is for us to understand that when you start solids, okay, if your baby can sit with minimal support on a high chair, they can take a teether, put it in their mouth. That means they can take a food and put it in their mouth. That action is the same. Now, you need to understand there's choking and there's gagging. So, gagging, see, babies at 6 months, they have a lot of protective mechanisms in front of their mouth. So if they take a carrot and they bite a piece off, what will happen is the gag reflex will start. So, our gag reflex is here, but babies is in front for a reason. So they will start going, coughing. It looks so scary to us,
Yes.
but it is totally normal. That's their mouth preventing anything from going to the back of the throat. So then you will see the baby will spit it out, or they will move it to the side to start chewing. Now, choking is when it has passed the gag reflex, gone to the back, they turn blue, they go silent. Now, luckily, choking is actually not common with babies because we give them safe foods. So, whatever you give them, stick-shaped pieces so that they can hold it and there's something sticking out. And whatever you give them, make sure you can squish between your fingers. Because if you can squish it between your fingers, they can squish it between their gums. So even like broccoli and carrot, make sure you steam it. Make sure it passes the squish test. Banana, avocado, you're not going to steam, but make sure it's ripe and you can squish it. So, and honestly, I tell parents, if you're nervous, do a CPR course. Learn, see the videos on how to prepare it safely, because the benefits of them, see, chewing it, that's how, the enzymes start, the digestion, all of that is happening. So once we educate ourselves, then we do feel a bit more calm.
Lovely. I mean, I was always
You're like
almost
on edge,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Another thing I want to ask from my own experience, that every child is different. Some baby gets their teeth at 4 months, while the other, I mean, my daughter, the other one got her teeth at 10 months. So, first, like teething, the thing happened. So, do we wait for the teething to happen to introduce, solids, or do we introduce it at 6 months the way the rule is?
Yeah, so that's a big misconception. But I want you to imagine your teeth, right? So even us, when the babies, the first teeth come out, which is the first ones in front.
Yes.
So when we bite, but then it moves to the side
Side.
for us to chew.
Yes.
So we chew with our molars. And for babies, that only comes out at 1.5 to 2 years of age. So your gums are actually strong enough to chew food as long as it passes that squish test. So you do not need to wait till your baby gets teeth. That's a common misconception. Your baby can chew and enjoy foods from the time they're 6 months.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wait.
Yeah, because
the teething has not come.
But even then, like your daughter would bite it in front with her teeth, but then she still move it here. She's not chewing with the front teeth.
Yeah, and we
Right?
all moms know who had been breastfeeding that their jaws, their
Yeah.
gums are pretty strong. They can
Correct.
bite. So obviously the squishy, avocado and carrot, they
Yes.
can definitely bite and eat. Another question from my personal experience I will ask is, there are babies who are born preemies, and do you think the parents should wait for their, the real birth time age to come to introduce solid, or they can actually start solid from the way the baby is born, really?
Yeah. So I appreciate what you said, that every baby is different, right? So even when starting solids, we say start around 6 months of age. So when they have completed 6 months. Now, every baby is different. Some will be ready a bit earlier, some a bit later. But there are 4 signs that I want you to look out for, whether it's preemie, born on time. Number 1, your baby should sit with minimal support. So when you put them in a high chair, they shouldn't be like wobbling. That means they won't be able to take the food. Number 2, they should be able to take things and put it in their mouth. Number 3, they should show an interest in food. So when you guys are eating, they should be looking, trying to chew. And the 4th thing is, if you take a spoon near their mouth, they shouldn't stick their tongue out. Okay, because you see at 4 or 5 months, babies start sticking their tongue out. That's a reflex, but it goes at around 6 months. So when you bring a spoon, they shouldn't stick it out, because then they can take food in. So these are the 4 signs. Now, some babies will reach it at 5.5, some at 6, some at 6.5. Totally okay. So you wait till those signs come and then you start solids. It's not at 6 months you have to start.
This was actually very important because sometimes people ask me for suggestions, and sometimes they go by the dictionary, and it is very important to learn about your baby through the signs that your baby is showing. I think this was the most important thing
Exactly.
than asking others.
Yeah, and I think parents also have to remember eating is a skill. It's like crawling and walking. Some babies will take to it quickly, some will take time, some will need a lot of practice. So I know you were mentioning also, like, for when you compare two kids, you see they're so different, right? So just remember it's okay. Be patient. I think we've lost patience as parents because we're just like in a rush, like finish the meal, let's move on with our day. But we have to remind ourselves that it's such a new experience for them.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. This one thing that I also want to ask, with my experience again, like one baby I did not lactate at all, and the other baby I lactated, not a lot but barely enough. But uh, there's something around us that we feel when we do not lactate, and that is very suffocating. It's not helpful at all. So I want to know, that how important is feeding your own milk to your baby is, and if you do not, where to source the right baby food, what to find, what to read and find out.
Right. So, the first year of life, milk is the primary source of nutrition. So, the options are either breast milk or formula. So, all the people out there, I want to say formula shaming needs to stop, because also formula is, it's the most heavily regulated food product in the world, meaning the amount of regulations, the amount of criteria to make sure that it's safe for a baby. So it is okay if you have to give your child formula. And in the first year, the only options are breast milk or formula. So if you cannot feed, it's okay. Formula is made to match the nutrient composition of breast milk, okay? So in the first year, that's it. So even when you start solids at 6 months, the main source of calories is breast milk or formula, because they need a quick energy source. They're tripling their birth weight in the first year. And also with food, they're still figuring it out. How does it feel? How does it taste? How does it suit my tummy? So I just want you to know that breast milk or formula are the options. And even with solids, it will take till about maybe 8-9 months till it clicks in your baby that, oh, I feel full with food. And then you naturally will see they will start taking less milk on their own. The issue is that parents at 6 months, here's the first time you're seeing ragi porridge, you better love it, down it, and now I'm stopping the milk. But that's not the reality of the situation.
But in India, I think people continue with milk like forever and ever, and that is how what is the the kid's tummy gets full with milk, and they reject food for the longest period of time. I know of people, kids as old as 2 year, 2.5 year, only drinking milk and not eating enough food. So what do you think, what do you think should be done in such a situation? I mean, if the child is already 2 year old and is listening to the podcast, what I mean, we say that it is never too late than never. So what is the best thing to do at this age?
Right. So, see, when it's like a behavior happens, right? You give your child milk, they drink it, they're happy, and then they don't want to have food. So, they are also learning through consequences. They know, I don't eat the food. In 1 hour, my mom is going to give me milk. So, honestly, it's the easy way out for us parents as well. But there has to be some boundaries we put in place. So, first of all, we need to make our child understand that, it's okay, here's your milk, and then offer the meal. If they don't eat the meal, you have to set that boundary. Don't give milk right away. And they will come, they will cry. So, first, you acknowledge the behavior. I know you really want the milk, right? You're hungry. Two, we're not having milk. You set the boundary. There's no milk right now. Lunchtime is over, no milk. Third is you give them something to look forward to. Would you like some makanas, or would you like a fruit instead? So the thing is with kids, I think we become so scared of their emotions, of their tantrums, that we're just giving in. And it's important, if we don't hold those boundaries, they will never learn. So the first few days will be tough because they will be rejecting, they will be upset. But then in their mind, it will click that I'm not getting this milk anymore. So I have to figure somewhere else to eat. So it's really up to us to be understanding, but we have to set those boundaries. Otherwise, it will be a cycle that will keep going on and on.
So, do you think that when we introduce food to our children, do we need to keep in mind the nutrients that is going in, or should we just focus, okay, the baby's eating?
Hmm. So, as I mentioned, the first year, milk is the main source of nutrition. So, actually, you can use that 6 to 12 months to offer your child a lot of variety. So, they get used to everything. So, variety is the best thing to do. But of course, whatever you want them to eat. So, we want our kids to eat iron rich foods because today a lot of kids are low in iron. So, it's important to introduce your lentils, your beans, your nuts, your seeds, your eggs. Introduce it early on. So,
From 6 months itself.
from 6 months. So actually, all these allergens, eggs, nuts, a lot of doctors will say wait till 1 year. But actually, if you look at the research, studies show the sooner you introduce it, the better. Because if you wait till they're 1 and you give them egg, their body will be like, what is this? I've never had it before. So the sooner you introduce it, the better. And honestly, we want our kids to be eating egg, nuts, dairy, because these are all the good fats, the protein, the calcium, the iron, all the things that growing kids actually need. So the best thing I'd say is offer everything, offer variety. So your baby gets exposed, they build their taste buds, they build their gut, and then you figure out what works for your family, for what your baby's enjoying, and you can create a plan accordingly. You know, babies who are given like ragi every day, suddenly at 10 months they reject it, and then the parents are stuck because they don't want to try anything else. So the more variety in the beginning, the better.
Okay, you just said about gut health, but we do not give, any importance to gut health of a baby. And how do we take care of that?
So for the gut, there's a few things we can do. So number one is, as I mentioned, what does the gut thrive off of? There's so many different bacteria. So the more variety, the better. So luckily in India, you have seasonal fruits and veggies. So the first thing I say to parents when you start solids is start with a variety of fruits and veggies because all that fiber will go in and feed the good bacteria as well. So I would say that one. Number two, again in India, we have so many fermented foods. So that will feed the good bacteria. So your yogurt, your rice kanji, beetroot kanji, your fermented idli, dosas. Again, add that in your baby's diet. And then again, all these spices, they're anti-inflammatory, they're antioxidants. So all your haldi, jeera. We're not doing sugar and salt, right? But that doesn't mean the baby's food should be bland. They should enjoy all these different flavors.
Whenever we talk about masala, the
Yeah.
first two spices is, at least put some salt.
Correct.
But when the doctor says no salt, we put no other masala. So you mean to say that apart from salt, we can use the other spices?
Correct. Our babies deserve good food. They deserve tasty food. These spices have many anti-inflammatory properties. It makes the food tasty and it adds a lot of minerals for them as well, which what growing babies need. So don't be scared of them. And the sooner you try, like I never, before I became a child nutritionist, I was so nervous. I didn't put anything, even black pepper. Now my kids are 7 and they're like, oh my God, it's so spicy. Oh my God, we can't handle it. But all the babies I've worked with, they are eating full-on flavorful masala foods and their gut is great. They're digesting it well because from the beginning we started.
How lovely. So if you have to, guide with a food, maybe a 7-month-old can eat. So what would it be?
Okay. So I would say, so one mistake parents make is they'll just give like maybe fruit for breakfast and then lunch every day. See, dal rice is great. It's actually a superfood. So what I'd say is like maybe breakfast, do like a ragi porridge, oats porridge, or if you are non-veg, you can do eggs and avocado or eggs and banana, for example. Lunch, I'm okay with the dal rice because it's a staple, everyone's eating it, but make small changes. Meaning one day yellow moong, one day green moong, one day red masoor, change maybe one day do rice, one day do millets. change it up in that way. And then dinner, as they get older, you can start doing, I know a lot of people are worried about it, but you can do your dosas, your idlis, you can do other foods like that as well. So make sure every meal has a carb, make sure every meal has a fat, iron, and then fruit or veggie. That's a balanced meal. So for example, if you're doing dal rice, the carb is the rice, the fat is the ghee, the iron is the dal, and then you add some veggies, so some spinach or some beans. So those four things make a balanced meal. And you do the same for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So just now you said, we should give a little bit of carbs and a protein and fiber and good fat. But just from real experience of from my sister-in-law, just the other day she was telling, for breakfast I just give some boiled fruit and steamed fruit, and I feel that they are full, like the babies, they are full. Should she even move to the next course of trying a little carb in the form of oats or ragi, or is the same thing for lunch after dal chawal, moving to say a little bit of uh, sabzi, uh, I mean, or should we, because the kids cannot eat like that, especially Indian food. So what moms do here is they put everything in a mixer and make it into a slurry, and the baby drinks it up. So how do we? What is the correction here?
Yeah, so I think we've all grown up with this volume driven culture. Our focus is just here's the plate, finish the food, and move on. But there's this whole other part of food that we're missing. That this nourishment, how does food make you feel? And I think so many of us are struggling with that now, right? We realize now the importance. Listen to your body, don't overeat. And that is because we were forced to drink our food or finish it or down it altogether. So that is a one mistake we don't want to make for our kids. We want them to build a relationship with food. My goal is not for kids to just love everything. My goal is for kids to explore all food so that when they grow up, they can figure out what their body needs. And if we just blend everything and give them, and we don't give them that chance. And I give these whenever any parent is struggling, and especially a lot of times I explain to in-laws and the nannies, I give these two examples. Imagine you're at a restaurant, okay? And the waiter brings you a dish you've never seen before. So it's like the first time you're giving your baby, dal, okay? Are you going to look at that food and down it? No. First, you look at it, you say, excuse me, what is in it? How does it feel? You'll watch someone else eating it, then you'll take 2 bites. Maybe you love it, maybe you don't. But that's your choice. But with our kids, we're like, here's dal and rice, we eat it every day. We want you to love it, down it, finish 6 tablespoons every day. We forget that our kids are human. They also need that time to figure it out. And another example is, suppose you're giving the baby fruit every day and they love it, right? They love their apple, happily eating it. One day they stop at 2 bites, okay? Again, we panic. They must not be full. But imagine for us, right? You're at your favorite restaurant, you order your favorite dish, and suppose you left one piece. Then imagine if the waiter, the manager, everyone comes on, they're looking at you saying, you can't leave this restaurant till you're done the 2 bites. No, I enjoyed the food. It was yum, but I'm full. I'm okay. No. Okay, let's start a dance. Come on, everyone, let's dance. Now, will you go back to that restaurant again? No. But with our kids, we're like, here's the food, finish it, love it, sit happily, open your mouth. So we have to manage our expectations as parents and also realize there's a whole other aspect of food than just getting the nutrition in, because food is so much more than that.
And why should we not give our babies food with an added sugar?
Yeah. So basically, sugar is empty calories. Okay. And in the first few years of life, our kids are tripling their birth weight. Their brain is pretty much 90% developed. And as you can see, as all moms can agree, babies have their days. Some days they're having 1 bite, some days 2 bites. So why would we want that 1 bite to have that sugar that is going to affect their gut, that is going to affect their immunity, that is going to affect their growth? I'd rather them have those 2, 3 bites of the nutritious food so that every bite counts. And actually, a study came out that kids who limit sugar in the first 2 years of life, 30% less chance of diabetes, of high cholesterol, of all these long-term diseases that are coming out are actually being linked back to what kids ate in the first 2 years.
To the first 2 years nutrition, can actually
Affect your long
impact
term.
your entire life.
Correct. And we focus so much on adult nutrition, but you see it, right, with your kids, how much they've grown in the first few years. So what is fueling that growth?
The food.
The food. But we wait till we're like in our 30s. I mean, I didn't realize the importance of like protein and fiber till a few years ago, but now I'm trying to put it into my kids that, okay, with every meal, what is the veggie you're having? What is the fiber? You want to have sugar? Have it. But what are we going to line our stomach with so it doesn't spike? Like all these things we've learned now as adults, right? But imagine the
Do you also
power.
teach like this to your child?
Yeah. So, like, for example, if they want to have ice cream, see, we don't live in a world where there's no sugar. So, I'm not like, you cannot have ice cream. I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do before? So, I give them hacks. They will have some cashews before. So, then the cashews line their stomach. So, I say, now there's a spider web in your tummy. So, now when sugar comes in, it will bounce back and it won't get stuck. So, I think we underestimate our kids. If we actually educate them and slowly put these things, like there's so many things our parents told us from childhood that we still remember now.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's just about teaching them these tricks. And after you eat the sugar, okay, let's do a few laps around the room because then the sugar will burn off. And normally our kids are active anyways, they're running around. So if you teach them these hacks, it just teaches them to handle food better than just restricting it.
I just want to ask a child nutritionist whether, do the children understand the difference between home cooked and, something homemade and something over the counter?
So the thing is that they do, because end of the day, over the counter, extra salt is being added, extra sugar is being added,
And then palm oil.
palm oil. So all these things are added so that even we as adults, we want more. It gives us that dopamine hit. It gives us that sudden happiness, that feeling we get. And then we have that crash also. For kids, it's the tantrums that happen. So they definitely are able to tell the difference. And again, that's why I really urge parents to make the foods tasty. Because imagine going from very bland food and then suddenly eating a packaged food outside. That difference is so stark. So that's why it's important to make the foods tasty from home from the beginning.
We have grown up with, getting hit by our parents, getting like a big spank and all, because we were not eating. And somehow, I've seen with my mom also. We have had this argument that, have you ever seen an adult being, not eating everything? So everybody eventually changes. So should we wait for that eventually changing, and or how what is the right approach to feeding our toddlers? Because every toddler would reject food at some point of the time or the other. So how do we look at that, that thing?
Yeah. So, see, as adults, we've trained ourselves, eat at 12 o'clock. We have this strict routine. But for our kids, every day we sit them at 12 o'clock, they don't have concept of time. And they are also listening to their body. So, if you sit them down at 12 o'clock for lunch and they don't want to eat, it's not that they are doing it purposely. Maybe they're just not hungry. So, you have to understand also they are figuring it out. So, what you do is, for example, you sit your child down and they only eat the rice and they don't want to eat anything else. You bring them down, you try again in 20 minutes. If they really don't want, then you end the meal. And then what you do is you bring the next meal sooner. So suppose 1 o'clock is lunch, 4 o'clock is snack, okay? They only ate the rice. Then you bring snack at 3 o'clock and you say, okay, they only ate rice. So that means they didn't get enough fiber. So what I'm going to do, and protein. So maybe for their snack, I will give them egg and fruit. So see, you cannot control what your child eats, but you can control when you offer and what you offer. So you work with your child so that if they really needed that day, then they will make up for it. Then they will eat the egg. They will eat the fruits. See, even like us, like you will have days where you only want fruits, or one day you really are in a carb day and you just want to eat carbs. Same with our kids, but we've lost that. So we are trying to learn that again. But our kids have that. They are born with the innate hunger cues. So our job is just to give them those opportunities to eat what they need. And it's beautiful to see that they will figure it out. The problem is it takes time. So one day they don't do it, then we get fed up and we're like, okay, forget it. Let's go back to our normal ways. But if you stay consistent, it's beautiful to see how kids actually like figure it out. Like I took my daughter to a party and I was putting the pizza because I birthday party, eat your pizza, enjoy. She's like, no, mama, I want fried rice. And I'm like, are you sure? It's a birthday party. Like, enjoy your life. She's like, I want fried rice. So it wasn't even that she wanted the fried rice, but the fact that she was able to say, this is what my body wants, I think that is more important. And then after that, she went and had her cake, which is fine. But most kids are, here's your food, you have to eat it, finish, move on with your day.
And how important is to quit milk after 1 year or not quit milk and to
Yeah.
continue with milk, because there's a big argument about this.
Yeah. So post one, there's no need for formula for sure. So if your baby's on formula, stop it, because actually formula post one is giving extra calories that are causing obesity. So stop formula. If you want to continue breastfeeding, it's totally great and nutritious. If you offer 2-3 times a day, they don't even need any cow's milk. So you can continue. But post one, you can introduce a bit of cow's milk because it helps them meet their calcium needs, but only twice a day, less than 450 ml a day. And if your child is having some yogurt, cheese, paneer, they actually only need about 240 ml of cow's milk. So the biggest mistake is parents are giving way too much. So they can still have milk, but just bring it down so there's space, because food takes over post one.
And what if somebody just stops milk like totally?
Yeah. So the thing is, see, to get enough, why do we give milk? Because we want our kids to get enough calcium, right? Because this is when their bones, everything is growing. So they need 3 servings of dairy a day. One serving is 120 ml of milk, 1 slice of cheese, 4 tablespoons of yogurt, or 4 to 5 cubes of paneer, or maybe some ragi. These are the high calcium foods. So if you don't want to give milk, it's okay. But then you have to make sure the other 3 servings come from the other food. So a lot of people tell you, don't worry about milk, forget it, which I agree. But then you really have to work hard that your kid has those other high calcium foods so that they get enough. So that's why most kids, at least if they're having some milk, it gives us ease that, okay, at least their calcium needs are being met.
So ragi, apart from iron, also has also is a great
Calcium, yeah.
source of calcium.
Yeah. And so many of us didn't eat millets growing up, and now we're hearing about it. So adding these millets, because see, for kids, carbs, they're eating rice, roti, rice, roti. So just adding 1-2 millets in their diet will help them, just get that variety as well.
I just read the other day that, India was predominantly a millet driven country. And in order to, meet the mass hunger, the wheat was produced. So, which is like during the Green Revolution. So, this is the mass produced wheat, and which is not really, healthy. But now this is this new awakening that has come up, that we are shown the importance of the different millets and not wheat. But we, the millennials, we are born in those times just after independence, and a lot of foreign things coming to into our culture, bread and wheat and all those stuff. So we have grown up predominantly dependent on like eating bread.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And I feel that millets now, there's so many ways to cook them, have them. And even me, I was so lost in the beginning. How do I give my kids ragi? But there's so many amazing recipes to make a ragi cookie, or I make ragi popsicles for my kids. So I'll just take some ragi coconut.
Popsicles.
Yeah. So like, because, kids, they need a little fun in their life, right? So a little bit of ragi, I add some coconut milk, I add a banana, a little bit of date syrup, and then you can give it as a smoothie, or I'd freeze it as popsicles. So in the summer, it's such a good option, and they're happy with it. So I know when they grow up, like now, if we have millets, we might have a hard time digesting it because we didn't have it as kids. But if we do a bit of this in the beginning, then our kids can actually handle it later.
Oh my God, this just sounds so familiar, because I had been cooking ragi for the last couple of days, and both my girls, the way I said, they're very different. So one likes it in the slurry form,
Yeah.
and the other wants it in the roti form. So the same ragi I have to cook in 2 different ways. And the other day, my mom had been consistently seeing this, and then one fine day she said that, okay, fine, I will also have the ragi roti from today. And she could not digest. In the morning she said, how do these little girls, you are giving them millets, they might not be able to digest, because I couldn't. And I actually did not have the answer, which I got it now.
Yeah.
So, because we are not used to it, so one fine day if we eat, our system might not be able to digest it. But since I have introduced it in such a young age, their body is able to.
Correct.
I was,
Yeah,
I
you were
was
wondering.
feeling guilty that
Don't feel guilty.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they are too young to even
Yeah.
tell me their discomfort or
Right.
something. But it's nothing that was different, nothing, no discomfort that I see of.
Yeah.
And I was feeling that they were enjoying their ragi roti with ghee and this ragi slurry with
Yeah.
ghee. They were really enjoying it. But after my mom's this thing, I kind of
Felt bad a little
yeah
bit.
yeah, I
Yeah.
stopped it,
Yeah.
to and started introducing. I thought I'll give it once a week or something, not every day. But yeah,
You're
thank
good.
God
You're good.
I spoke to you today. So, do you think, a lot of time, child's nutrition is about calming the parents?
You said it so well because in my line of work, I feel it's not what the baby does. It's how the parents respond. So even in my job, I feel that half the time I'm just coaching the parents. And because it's the way we've been brought up, and for us to suddenly undo that and be okay, it's hard. And all this pressure from family around us, from Instagram, all of these things, it's hard for us to do it the right way. So you're right. I feel that a calm parent is the best thing that a child can have. And even at meal times, I feel what the biggest missing link is? If you're struggling with a child who's not eating, who's very picky, I've noticed that it's this lack of connection. Because I feel like when it comes to meal times, we will sit in front of our child, we will give them all the attention in the world for those 30 minutes, and maybe that's what they're just craving. Because then after that, we're like, okay, go play, go for your class, go for this. But at meal times, we are looking at them, eye to eye contact, we're begging them, we're talking to them. So, a lot of times I'm like, okay, wait, maybe they enjoy that. They like the attention they're getting. They know if they throw the spoon, they'll get the TV. So it's really about how we respond at meal times that actually makes such a big difference.
So, what is the change that one should do?
Yes.
How can we behave the whole
Yeah.
during the mealtime? How can we behave the same way as the rest of the day?
So all I tell parents is that right before the meal, just spend 10 minutes with your child. Give them that importance, that attention, do a dance party, read a book, whatever they want to do. Because then they feel that love, they feel that connection, and then they don't feel like, okay, I have to wait till meal times to get it. So then they themselves are more calm. And also at meal times, if you can be there, I know all of us are working, but whoever's there, sit with them and eat with them. Because they watch us. So many times we put food in front of them, we're like, put it in your mouth. But they don't know, is it safe? How does it feel? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with it. But if you show them you are eating, they actually feel like, okay, if my mom is putting it in her mouth, it's safe for me to try. So I would say spend some time with them right before the meal. And at meals, if you can just connect with them and eat with them. So it's not like 10 people just staring at them, waiting for them to eat.
I have seen this expression not only on myself but on all the moms and dads standing there when, while handing over the child to us, the school actually mentions what all the child has eaten in the school that day. And we literally get surprised, like, really? What is the size of the roti? Like, how is it possible? And yeah, but at home they do not eat, and it's not just a case for me, it's for everybody. And I feel, yeah, that's the difference, because they are in that same environment throughout. And it's not that they do not know how to eat, especially the for us, we know that they eat a substantial amount, and at home they start throwing tantrums.
Yeah, because they know when the tantrums happen, you are going to give in. In school, it's like no one's giving in to your tantrums. Here's your food, you got to eat it, and everyone's eating same thing. Everyone's eating together. At home, we'll have separate food for our kids, and then we'll eat separate food. And they look, what are they having? Why do we have separate? They're not touching our food, but why should we touch our food then and eat it, right? So you're right. It's that environment that's created.
So, is there any strategy to manage picky eating earlier on?
So, first, I want parents to know that all kids will go through a picky eating phase. And
Oh, so
that's
that's a phase.
It's a phase. The picky eating is a phase. Now,
It's not that my child is a picky eater
no.
and the rest of them are not.
And you know what? Like, I know you mentioned like your kids are very different in terms of their food and all of that, but isn't that also a good thing? Like, we keep thinking, oh, they're picky. They only want to eat carrot or they only want to eat tomato, but they don't want to touch the broccoli. But that's not a bad thing. Their body's asking for the carrot, they're eating it and they're feeling happy. Picky eating, which is an issue, is when your child is not eating a certain food group. So, for example, if your child will not touch any fruit, that is picky eating and that is a concern. But if they're eating like, okay, 2, 3 fruits, but they don't want maybe pomegranate, that's not picky eating. That's them figuring out who they are. Just like you and me, we have different food habits. Certain foods you like, certain foods I like. So that's okay. So I think we also get panicky if they're not having it. So just know that they all go through a bit of a phase. But how you respond and if you are okay with it, that is what will make it into a bigger thing or not. So the strategy is keep offering variety, respect your child. And as we spoke about earlier, have the boundaries, have the schedule. But I want all the parents listening know that it's okay if they're going through a bit of this phase. Also, post 1 year of age, their growth slows down a lot. So their appetite will come down. So that age 1 to 3 is a tough age because they're going through so many milestones. Plus, they're not growing as fast. They only gain like 2 kgs a year compared to the first year where they triple their birth weight. So their appetite will come down. So first understand that this is quite normal.
Lovely. Also, I want to also know that I'm sure as a nutritionist, you must have um seen people where the children, they just eat, French fries and uh, nuggets, like kind of fried stuff. So, how can you reverse this phase? And is it about the parenting or is it about the child?
Yeah. So if you notice your child is only eating 2, 3 foods, most likely there's some nutritional deficiency happening. Because if they are not feeling safe around other foods, they don't feel good with that, it's probably maybe they're low in iron. So they're just not hungry. So whatever they eat is what is safe, right? They could be low in vitamin D as well. Zinc, as we were talking about, they don't like the sight of new foods. So if your child is very extreme, it's most likely a nutritional deficiency. And of course, it could be also related to the environment that is created. But once you fix the nutritional deficiencies, then they will be more open to trying new things and then you can work on the environment as well. So it's probably a combination of both, but if you're in such an extreme case, something's amiss.
Is there anything that you can say? How can parents create a safe environments for babies to explore food at their own pace?
For babies, so I would say be patient with them. Take a step back. And when you do your meals, you can have 2 varieties. So if you're giving your baby banana, have the puree and have the finger food. So let them practice with the spoon, putting it in their mouth, but at the same time, let them see, feel, touch. You show them you eating the banana. This is the biggest thing again. We put the food in front of them. If you're starting baby led weaning or anything, you pick up that banana, you chew, you show them that you're eating. Because obviously for babies, the timing and the food won't match. So you won't eat the same food right away. But whatever they're eating, have a bite of it with them. Give them 2 textures. Let them explore. Let them feel. Give them space and be patient. And if you have a lot of commentary going around, oh my God, you tell them, you come now, you sit, you also eat. Because see, also all the dadis, nanis, see, they are just worried. They're just concerned. They just want to show that love. So just explain to them and get them involved. They just want to be involved in the process. So, and it's, if you give babies that 2, 3 months, you will see how they'll start eating themselves as well, like properly.
And how do we reintroduce food? And should we, or should we just say that, okay, fine, my child does not eat this?
Yeah, so I feel that our, even us, like our taste buds keep changing, our gut keeps changing, our preferences keep changing. It can take a baby up to 15 times to accept a food. So never give up. I just worked with a baby who hated broccoli. This is a 6-month-old baby. Every time, threw it. And we're like, okay, but the mom did not say anything. Okay, she just let it be. She took a break for a few weeks. She just put a broccoli there next to the pancake. And that day, the baby just finished 2, 3 broccoli. She was shocked. And I said, the fact that you didn't do anything and you just let it be and you didn't put that pressure. Why didn't you eat the broccoli? Come on, just open your mouth. Just one bite. No, no, no. You know how we say, just try. She didn't do that. And because she didn't do that, after a month when she gave it, he had it. So don't give up. And also, you also choose, right? Like if you tried quinoa 2-3 times, your child didn't have it, and it's not something you guys eat in your house, okay, that's fine. Like let it go. But if there's certain things you want them to eat, then don't give up on it.
So, do you think that child obesity is increasing? And how do we look at it?
Mm. It's actually scary. I was looking at some facts. 1 in 10 obese children will be from India by 2030. Okay, so the obesity is really rising. And why is it rising? Number one, our kids are not as active anymore because of the sedentary lifestyle, because of the iPads and screens. The other thing is the availability of all these packaged foods, which have these, sugar and all of that. Like literally with a click of a button, you can order it, right? And it's right in front of you as well. Also, there's this lack of awareness still. Like now I'm talking to you about child nutrition, but there's still so many people who don't realize, right, the importance of giving the right foods in the beginning. So a lot of parents are giving a lot of these packaged foods and all of that. So that lack of awareness is still something we're working on. And I feel that overall, also this force feeding is one of the biggest reasons that obesity is rising. Because what's happening is you put a screen, you get your child to finish the food, okay? They have no idea what they ate, what went in their mouth. They have no idea about fullness, if they're full or hungry. Then they go out in the world, they see a packet of chips, they eat it. They are not realizing their hunger cues. They will keep eating. They will not know what a balanced meal is. And that keeps adding on. So there's many reasons why obesity is rising. And that's why I feel as parents, it's so important for us to really look at the home environment and let our kids enjoy the process of mealtime so that they can listen to their body. Because when they go out in the world, those foods will be there. But as we are talking about those hacks you can do about, trying to limit a bit of the foods at home, at least the packaged food. So when they go out in the world, at least they'll be able to not overdo it.
And what food is a strict no for a toddler to eat?
No, I would say there's quite a few things. So try and avoid sugar as much as you can till 2.
But people think sugar is sugar. But what you
Yeah, I'll
name the
clarify.
things?
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, at 6 months, dates is okay. So you can add dates. Post 1, a bit of honey is okay. Like raw honey is okay. Post 2, only then you can start a little bit of coconut sugar and jaggery. So a lot of people, I hear a lot, the dadi saying add coconut sugar, add jaggery at 6 months, 8 months. No, it is still sugar. It has a bit of minerals, but when it goes in the body still processes it as sugar. So it still causes the spike and the inflammation and all of that. So fruits, dates till 1 year, raw honey post 1, and post 2, a little bit of coconut sugar and jaggery is okay because we balance it out. So if we're making a ragi cookie, we'll add the ragi, we'll add the egg, then we add a bit of jaggery. So then it's okay. But for a toddler, like 1 to 2, avoid sugars, avoid artificial sweeteners. So, now a lot of packaged foods, they'll come and say no sugar. But they're putting these aspartame, sucralose, stevia, all these things to hide it and trick parents that there's no sugar in it. But these are actually worse. They damage your gut completely. It tricks the body to crave more sugar. So avoid those artificial sweeteners. And another thing, try and avoid seed oils. A lot of times in our houses, we use vegetable oil, sunflower, canola oil. These are actually really bad for the body because what happens is the way they're made, they go through high heat, chemicals, bleach is added, so they're already very toxic. So when you eat it, it causes an inflammatory response. But luckily, we have so many options, especially in India. So for your babies and kids, use your ghee, use your butter, your coconut oil, peanut oil. So you have options. So I would say avoid sugar, seed oils, and packaged foods as much as you can.
It's actually very easy, but it's very difficult to follow. But yeah, sometimes actually we feel that it is healthy because it does not have sugar, but it has artificial sweeteners. But do you think artificial sweetener only damages the children's gut health, or it does equal damaging to the adults gut
Equal
as well?
for us as well.
Yeah.
As equal for us. It's the same thing. It literally is the same thing. So when we have it, it actually tricks, it has 0 calories, but it has these ingredients that trick the brain to crave more sugar. So in fact, we end up having more. So the same thing with like your diet, drinks, and all of that. The same thing happens. So I feel like honestly, if you want to enjoy your sugar, just enjoy it as it is and move on in your life. Don't try doing these substitutes because then we end up having more of those thinking it's okay. Right? Yeah.
Thinking is healthy.
Thinking it's healthy. So we're like, we'll have 2, 3 compared to the regular sugar. We'll have 1 because we know.
At least we have this fear
Yeah,
that,
we
okay,
have-
fine, I'll
yeah.
just have a small bite.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking it is healthy, I would have like a lot.
And even for kids, you'll see these gummies, right? No sugar. So then they'll have more. They won't stop at 1.
But are these gummies actually healthy?
See, gummies, first of all, is the least way to absorb the nutrients, like compared to giving a syrup or so, right? Like the gummy, the way it's made, you're hardly getting any of the nutrition. So all these multivitamin gummies, they don't work. The body's not able to absorb it. So you'd rather do a syrup form.
And how do you think Parasite plays a role? And how do we know? Because the internet is full of this thing that there is Parasite and we need to deal with it in a certain way. So how do we understand?
Yeah. So one thing I recommend, it's about parasite and worms. So in India, they say to do deworming twice a year with your child. So post 1 year of age, you should just do the deworming as a precaution in India. And for parasites, you will notice certain signs. So you will notice that your child wakes up at night screaming, that their poop is off. So there's a lot of like diarrhea as well. You will realize they complain of tummy aches. So, you really have to follow your gut literally, or your mother's instinct. Like my son, when he was 2, he used to wake up at night screaming. He used to have tantrums every day. And you know the difference between a normal tantrum and something that's off. And whenever he used to have dal, he used to get very gassy and he used to refuse dal. And I used to get so upset. How can my child not eat dal? He's veg. I started noticing these signs, and then he suddenly had diarrhea. So you just have that feeling that something is off. And I actually went in Hong Kong and I did a gut test, and he had Candida, H. pylori, he had all these things. And I said, you know what? He was showing me. There was a reason he was rejecting the foods. But I was so in my head that he needs to eat it, he needs to finish his plate, that I wasn't listening to him. And so look out for those signs. Your child is showing it to you. And when you see those signs, luckily there are many people who can help. There are certain diets you can do. So for parasites, pumpkin seeds are really good. Ginger, garlic, just a few things that we can work on. But just, I think as a mom, you'll know the signs.
Because we all know our gut is our second brain. And I got my gut microbiome tested a couple of months back, and I was surprised to see the results. And I went through a whole gut reset program, but I didn't know that this kind you can do it for your child as well.
Yeah. So you can, and in fact, gut health is so important. That's where 80% of our immune system is in the gut as well. So even for our kids, as they're growing their immunity, we want to build up as well. So luckily for kids, we can do very simple things: fruits and veggies, the fermented foods. There's things they're already having in their diet.
But can you just say a gut-friendly diet? I mean, I know it is an expensive test, and not
Yes, of
everybody
course.
would do it,
Yeah.
and might not be necessary for everybody. But when I did the gut reset diet for myself, nothing was out of the world extraordinary. It was everything available in the kitchen. So if you could say a gut-friendly diet for the toddlers, so what would be it? Some of the important fruits and vegetables, whatever it is.
Yeah. So again, I said what is good is variety. So what I'd want you to do is try and get them to have 20, it's a lot, 20 different fruits and veggies in a week. Okay. And as your kids get older, like my kids have a list. So every time they eat one, they go write it. So it becomes like a competition. Who in the family can get to 20 fruits and veggies first? So try and get the variety. That's better than eating the same thing every day. Try and include one fermented food, which is very easy. Most kids love their yogurt. Right? So you can do your yogurt, all of that. Then I would say good fats as well is important. So you have your ghee, which is great, but even different oils, olive oil, coconut oil, try and do that also. And to be very honest, the best thing for the gut, immunity, everything is just home cooked meals.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. I don't need to give you some fancy this, that, put this in the food, get this quinoa, get this buckwheat, get this. Home cooked meals are the best thing for the gut.
Because I think parasites and all these bad bacteria enter
Yeah.
from outside.
Yeah. And also just like clean your produce well. So I'll give you a hack, like your fruits and veggies. Luckily in India, you have seasonal fruits, you have local ones. So when you buy them, soak them in water with some baking soda. Okay. When you soak it in baking soda, it removes 80% of the pesticides and chemicals. So, when you buy the spinach, you buy the broccoli, soak it in that. Even strawberries, we get nervous what is inside. Soak it in baking soda and it will clean it up.
I think as a mom, a lot of my questions are sorted. How do you establish a routine that creates healthy habit and that does not look like a chore?
So the thing is, see, toddlers, they need things to be a bit fun. They're not going to sit there for 45 minutes like this and then, eat their food. So you have to make it fun in the way that there are things we can do. So you can get some fun utensils, some fun cutlery. Sometimes they want to eat with our spoon. You can get, toothpicks, just different things that they can use, or like, those animal forks. So sometimes just adding these tools as well makes it more fun. Or you can get those cutters. So you can cut like cucumber, carrot in a star shape. So these ways it keeps them excited. So if your child is rejecting a food, if you present it in another way, they'll actually be more willing to actually sit and have it, or at least explore and touch it. And as you said, as they watch you eat, they will also want to eat those foods as well. So as much as you can, try and sit together for one meal where you guys are eating together so that they feel that connection. They feel they're watching you eat. Get them involved in the kitchen. So if you're having the ragi roti, get them in the kitchen. Let them also get the mini roller. Let them also roll. Because if they're involved in the process, they actually get more excited about eating it and wanting to have it when they feel in control. That's what toddlers want, right? They just want to feel in control.
But India also is a place of not just vegetarians, but extreme vegetarians like Jains. They don't eat a lot of vegetables also. Like don't eat certain, like the real healthy spices, which is gut friendly. So what alternatives do they have to heal their gut?
Yeah, so the few of them that I've worked with that also have these restrictions, luckily they've also figured it out in the sense that there's a lot of other greens that they have, or they'll have like the raw banana or tindi, and there's all these other local ones which are actually as good. And they don't need a lot of the carbs, right? Like the sweet potato and all of that. So that's beetroot, these things, carrot. So then they have to supplement with things like the millets at least, so that at least they're getting the different carbs in. So luckily in India, there's so many options. There's so many pulses, there's so many lentils, there's so many millets, there's so many seasonal fruits and veggies that you guys are very lucky that you can actually find easy replacements.
After this whole podcast, I actually felt that I'm so glad and I'm so lucky to be born and living in a country which is, which is God sent, and food is the basic of survival. And I would say that this is a country made of different varieties of foods and spices, and we are still looking for outside food like noodles and pastas and destroying our guts somewhere on that hunt or desire. So if we just sit back and look into our kitchen for the main source of food, I think we are sorted. And we are not only we are what we eat, our children are what we eat. So if we have a good eating habit, our children will have. And one thing that I'm taking back from this podcast is, eat with them and eat the, same food with them on the table. And I'm sure the last bit of that struggle that is going on is because obviously their food is different. So yeah, that's the only change I'm taking back from today. And I guess today's podcast is an amazing insight for all the moms who are struggling with their preemies, with their with their second child, or because every child is different, or even how to start food for your baby and everything in between, and taking care of the nutrition part of it. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you had a great time, because I think I was one of those moms who had a
Yeah.
whole bunch of questions from her own, dictionary.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And I think it's just always nice to just have that opportunity where, moms can also realize that we're all going through the same thing, but there is hope. There are simple steps you can take. Don't be so hard on yourselves, but just also realize that our kids have their own journey in their life with food. And it's important to just know that we are there to give them that environment where they can really figure out what their body needs and build that good relationship with food.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me.
Thank you.